eye-popping story that could mean millions for a new medical school in southern Nevada, but the next time you catch a cab, you could be paying for it. There's a new tax on every ride.
Right now we are hours away from the grand opening of Euphoria Wellness, the first shop to offer medical pot to all patients, but not everyone's happy about having that dispensary in their backyard.
5:30 now, Las Vegas. Hope you're off to a good start. Taking a live look outside, we're about 15 minutes away from sunrise, but morning meteorologist Greg Bennett already watching the clouds today. Greg?
Oh yeah, definitely seeing some shower activity involved with southern Nevada as a whole. Las Vegas, on the other hand, we're actually starting to dry out just a little bit. We still have plenty of cloud cover out there, though. Mainly cloudy skies for your morning commute. 85 degrees is the temperature as you head out the door with a northeast wind at 9 miles per hour. It's actually very reasonable if you are getting in the car, maybe off to the office or perhaps off to college. And of course, heading off to the bus stop for school, we're looking pretty good there too. But as we go through the day, we do have the potential for rainfall all through the afternoon. Now the shower activity mainly associated to the Sheep Range and the Spring Mountain Range. The cloud cover continues to linger for us, and temperatures on the rise as well. 99 degrees by 3 p.m. Is that the high temperature, or are we going to hit the triple digits today? Well, the answer to it coming up in your next weather forecast. For now, we've got to check the roadways with Micah Manalo.
Thank you, Greg. Let's go outside and do a check at the Spaghetti Bowl. Traffic still here light, but it is picking up a little bit more in these southbound lanes. It'll get worse around 5:45 as the early morning congestion starts playing a factor. Then it'll come back in full force around 6:45. Let's move to your maps. An aerial view of the valley shows no delays valley-wide. If you're coming in from the northwest, Henderson off to the airport. But we do have a crash involving a motorcycle seen still on hand for the past 6 hours. So you have a southbound lane restricted on Dean Martin as you get to Tropicana. Here's a visual from it that we took earlier. Just use Rville to avoid it altogether. That's a check out to traffic. Jessica, over to you.
Micah, thank you. Breaking news on an overnight shooting just east of the Las Vegas Strip. It happened over at the Emerald Suites, which is near Paradise and Sands. Police say a 35-year-old man was actually shot in the abdomen. And take a look here at new video that we've obtained from the crime scene. We're told the victim has been hospitalized but should survive the shooting. Cops are now looking for a white Chrysler that may have been involved in this. So if you do see the car they're looking for, you're asked to call Metro. That's the very latest from the Breaking News Center. Don, to you.
Jessica, thank you. The very first medical marijuana dispensary in Clark County is opening this morning. And this time, all card-holding patients will have a local place to buy marijuana. Action News reporter Yasim Hassan is outside the Euphoria Wellness just hours before it's going to open. Yasmin, what's going on out there?
Well, the grand opening is happening right here at Euphoria Wellness in just a couple of hours. But the anticipation has been building for a long time now. Voters actually approved medicinal marijuana back in 2000. But there were some delays and some questions about the measure. Now, 15 years later, Clark County has its first dispensary. It's actually set up in a plaza near other businesses, right near Jones and Robindale. But for the most part, this is actually a residential area. And not everyone is happy about a dispensary opening up on their block.
We're older, so maybe we have the old school way of looking at things, but we're still not crazy about it being there. And other than that, time will tell what happens and how it's accepted in the neighborhood here.
The opening of the dispensary is not just affecting homeowners. There are other shops in this plaza. And coming up in just about an hour, we're going to hear from one business owner about what this could mean for the area. And we'll also have everything patients can expect when they walk through those doors. Live in Las Vegas, Yasmin Hassan, Channel 13, Action News.
Yasmin, thank you. Getting ready to shell out more the next time you take a taxi, shuttle, or limo. This Friday, the Taxi Cab Authority is adding an extra 5 cents to each fare and a 3% tax on each ride. That's an extra 65 cents roughly for a $20 cab ride. Here's the breakdown. The first $5 million in tax revenue goes to the State Highway Fund. The next $19 million will help pay for a new medical school at UNLV. Anything else goes into the general fund. Cab companies not happy about the change.
Am I happy about it? No, I don't like it. It's going to affect our sales. 3% fee on our sales is a big number. The taxpayers just turned down a 2% fee, very similar to this for every industry, but they picked out the taxi cab limousine industry and they multiply it by 50% higher.
Ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft are not immune. When they're up and running in our area, they'll also have to charge the additional fees. And speaking of Uber and Lyft, there's a plan in the works to allow those companies to pick you up at the airport. It's not going to happen until late October at the earliest. That's when county commissioners will consider new rules for transportation companies. In the meantime, the ride-sharing companies still have a ways to go before they're even up and running in the Silver State. Ride-sharing regulations still have to be approved, and that's not going to happen until after Labor Day.
An update now on some breaking news. If you were near Washington and MLK last night, you probably saw this scene. Well, this morning, a man is in the hospital as a result. Police say he tried to assault a family member with a knife at a home on Adams Street. Then, when police showed up, he barricaded himself inside that house for hours. Police eventually convinced him to come out just before 10 o'clock. He's charged with assault with a deadly weapon, and police say he was treated for minor injuries.
Is a Las Vegas police officer responsible for a 3-car crash on the west side yesterday morning? The official investigation is going on, but here's what we do know from the police report. The officer, who hasn't been identified, was stopped at a red light at Spring Mountain in Cimarron. According to the report, he went anyway, and that's when he was hit by a tractor trailer which had the green light. Take a look at the video and you can see the heavy damage to the back end of the police SUV. That impact caused the SUV to crash into a Lexus. The officer and the Lexus driver were both treated for minor injuries. They'll be okay. The investigation continues.
Ahead today, the Las Vegas fireman accused of hiring a homeless man to kill his wife is back in court for day 2 of his trial. George TFA is accused of hiring Noel Stevens to kill his wife back in 2012. Prosecutors say Stevens beat TFA's wife to death with a hammer, and they say technology proves TFA and Stevens were working together.
But he calls Noel Stevens 87 times in the month of September. That's not just the text messages. His cooperation led to another layer upon another layer upon another layer of evidence until the entire scheme unfolded.
TFA's attorney told the jury that much of the evidence they'll hear is circumstantial and Stevens is not to be trusted. TFA faces up to 10 years in prison if found guilty.
Still ahead, more on that massive wildfire currently burning in the state of Washington. Emergency crews from across the West are there, but the fire is still growing. Firefighters may not get much help from Mother Nature until the weekend.
And speaking of our weekend, we're looking to actually warm up a bit as we move on through the next several days from the upper 90s right on into 106 degrees by Friday, 105 Saturday. The reason why coming up in your weather forecast.